Hello, and welcome to the Healing Path. I'm Laura Donnelly, and I'm the founder of Dancing with Ease Body Brain Balance, which is at its core all about healing. And I decided to do this series of conversations with friends and colleagues of mine who are working in all different areas of the healing field. I believe that all healing starts with self-healing and then expands outwards from there. And that the healing process, while not always predictable, always produces a beneficial result. Even when the scab falls off of something, in the end result is beneficial. So today, my guest is Elise Dorsett, who is a lovely friend, also a dancer who I met through a group that we are in together called Maya, which is about alignment and healing and getting everything in organization, energetically and physically, so that we can share our gifts with the world. So here comes Elise. She'll tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll just chat about love languages, which is really fun. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Laura. It's such an honor to be here with you today.
I'm so happy that you could join.
Me too. Me too. We were buddies in Maya, so we got to know each other there. And it's really where I found my path.
That's true. I sort of hadn't thought about it. We've probably known each other about 2.5 years or something.
Yeah.
And always digitally, always in the virtual space. We haven't managed to connect person to person yet, but I'm sure it will happen before too long.
Yes, we'll dance together.
Elise is a beautiful tango dancer, and she works with her husband, Marco, who is also a tango dancer. And it's so fun. I've seen some videos of their work, and they did this one on the edge of a swimming pool. It was so exciting. And so it was dangerous. I thought, oh man, they'll fall in. So the communication that you guys have to have, not just on the dance floor, but to be married and work together and dance together, perform together. This is a kind of a intricate feat of communication.
It's an interesting dance, and we are also of different cultures. So he's Italian and I'm American. So communication is so important to both of us, and it's really at the crux of what makes our relationship work. Of course, tango is a mode of communication, so we have that physical communication that we practice. But one of the things that has helped our relationship improve and helped us grow so much is the love languages. And that's why I want to talk about that today, because I'm also a relationship coach and I'm fascinated by my own relationship and always looking for things that work and testing things out on my poor husband, who's my guinea pig. And the love languages is just one of the tools that has made the biggest difference for us in learning how to love each other better.
Until we had talked about this a few weeks ago, I didn't really understand what these were or what it was about, but you explained it so clearly. So perhaps you could share that with the audience.
Sure. So the love languages were developed by Dr. Gary Chapman, and he wrote a book about them that's really beautiful, and it's full of stories about how couples transform their relationships by understanding how they give and receive love. So the theory is that we all give and receive love in different ways, and we tend to have one or two primary ways that are more comfortable for us to give and receive love. So the 5 love languages are physical touch, words of affirmation, so telling someone, I love you, or you look beautiful. Acts of service, so doing something for someone else. Gifts, giving a gift to someone. And the last one is quality time. And in the quality time love language, you really want to make that person the center of your universe when you're together, so they feel your true presence. So those are the 5 love languages. And when you understand your own love language, it helps you to be aware of your needs as well. And when you have awareness of your needs, you can communicate your needs to your partner and you can have those needs met. And then you can also meet your partner's needs. So sometimes, like what Gary Chapman explains in the book, is people have different love languages. Like maybe your love language is gifts and my love language is quality time. And so you are giving me all these gifts, but I like don't care about gifts. So you think you're telling me that you love me through your gifts, but what I really need from you is your time and your presence with me. And so we're just missing each other. I don't feel loved, you don't feel loved, and the relationship is breaking down because we're not able to be there for each other in the way that we need to. And he calls them languages because it's really like speaking Chinese to someone who speaks English. And I'm not going to get, you can scream at me in Chinese and I'm not going to understand you. And it's really that, it can be really that dramatic with the love languages.
Yeah. And it's some of this, I think, if people have been together a while, they kind of can stumble into and understand.
Yes. Yes.
And even though we talked about this a few months ago, and I was thinking about what was my primary love language, and you're talking today, and I realize, I mean, this is one of the things I think is so important about conversation is we learn from sharing, and we learn from listening, and we learn from the little things that connect when somebody else is sharing something important.
Yes.
So what you said today, I'm like, oh, quality time is one of my things.
Mm-hmm.
But the one of the languages of my husband is his primary language is acts of service.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I figured this out about him, and I realized like I have cleared my evening and he's out changing the oil in my car. And I'm like,
Right.
then him taking care of my vehicle that takes me everywhere I go, making my vehicle safe so that I'm safe. This is for him an act of service,
Yes.
and a real way for him to show that he cares for me.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I'm feeling like, I worked really hard to blow everything to the side so I had this evening free. And then he's out in the garage. And I don't really want to sit in the garage that would be an act of service because the mosquitoes would land on me and he would be free.
Sacrifice.
So
Yeah.
I hadn't really realized till today about quality time. And I probably don't articulate that to him in any way that's really clear. Maybe I'll make plans for us to go to supper. Well, for him, that's just a meal, and he would really rather be here working in the garden, have a quick bite, and go back to the garden, not have to get cleaned up and go to town. And so now I'm thinking about this. I wonder how I can do this differently, so that because again, the garden is an act of service,
Right.
and it's really important.
Yeah.
And he gardens by the moon. And so for me to have respect for him, I need to let him deal with the fact that this is the time for planting, or this is the time for pruning, and this time is here and it's going to pass. And if I demand that he stop everything and spend quality time with me, that's not going to be successful.
Right. But you can let him know and plan for other times and be, like you said, you might kind of have a sense of this kind of thing, but the love languages gives you the tool to really be conscious about it and communicate in a clear way and recognize, just recognize and be clear. And that's really healing, because when we have our needs met in relationships in a clear way, there's nothing more healing than that, than feeling loved.
Right. And understood. And when I don't understand him, it really hurts him, and it hurts me not to understand him.
Yes.
And And I had just had this making me laugh. I had just had this vague sense about quality time, but I didn't really understand it.
Mhm.
And so now I'm like, and see, and when we go on trips together in the car, I love that because he can't do anything else. He's right there. We have quality time.
Right. You force him. Yeah. The Marco's love primary language is quality time. And before I knew about this, he would say to me sometimes, "We never see each other. We're never together." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, we're always together. We live together. We sleep together. We have dinner together." Like, this is before COVID when I was out at Tango often, or we would kind of like pass each other. And for me, like, I thought that was enough. But for him, he was saying, "You're not giving me quality time," because when he was talking to me, I would be doing the dishes or doing the laundry or, kind of like, how you can do at home where you're kind of both working on something and talking. So for him, that does not count as quality time. He does not feel loved. And what he needs from me is to sit down with him and for me to just listen, like, as if there's nothing else more important in my world than like his bicycle. He loves to like talk about bicycle parts and computers and games, like things that honestly don't know, don't care. But for him, it's important. So when I sit there and look at him in the eye and give him all of my attention and let him talk and just, admire him and his passion and observe him, that makes him feel really loved. Even if it's just 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be a long time,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a long time.
but regularly 5 minutes. And then also like on weekends and things, we do make an effort to do longer day trips or outings or meals and things like that too. But it just allows me to be, and this is the other thing I wanted to say is, people say love is sacrifice or you have to make sacrifices or compromises. And for me, what it's really about is being willing to get out of your comfort zone for the other person because you love them and because you want to make them feel loved. And for me, maybe it stretches me to be present with him in some moments. For him, my language is words of affirmation. It's not his love language. It's his last one. So it stretches him to remember to give me affirmation and say things to me. And it's not easy for him, but he practices doing it because he loves me. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I love what you said about his last love language. So we might go over the 5 again. And then what you're saying is everybody has these in some degree. Yeah. And one of the things that's in harmony between my husband and I is that gifts are way down there on our low of priority.
Right.
And so my feelings aren't hurt if he doesn't give me a gift, and his aren't hurt if I don't give him a gift. But like not maybe Christmas. Maybe Christmas he got me a flashlight. Right? No, does that sound ridiculous?
Sounds very practical.
I love it. See, I love it. But I also recognized this is partly so, like if my car breaks down or I'm somewhere in the dark, I have this flashlight in my purse. He still is again an act of service, protecting me when he can't be present.
Wow. And
so when I realized that, and somebody said, well, you didn't get it. You got a flashlight? You didn't get a ring. You didn't get a necklace, And I'm like, no, I got this, which is every time I use it, it's a symbol that he loves me and he's taking care of me. It makes me happy.
Yeah.
So to understand this, and then I don't waste any time. And plus, like, I don't wear any jewelry. The jewelry gets stuck on stuff. So we're in alignment on that. But I did have to learn what his symbols were. And now when I have this quality time thing, and I'm thinking today, I'm going to have to figure out how to talk about it, how to ask for not huge swaths of quality time, but just little bits of quality time.
Yeah.
So how do people find out which of these love languages is important to them, and how do they what do they do once they find that out?
Great question. I would highly suggest to go to the5lovelanguages.com, and there is a quiz that's free that you can do, and that's Gary Chapman's site. So you can just go there and take the quiz. It's fun, easy, and Laura, you could even get your husband to, if he's open to it, you could get him to take the quiz, and that's something that it's fun for couples to do together if your partner is willing to learn about this together with you. And you know, if he loves you, which he does, and he wants to love you better, which I'm sure he does, you know, there's always a next level. Even if you have a great relationship, you know, there's always more to learn. There's always a next level. And yeah, you can like introduce this concept to him and let him know your vision, and that communication can be so fulfilling and so healing, and just expressing it can bring you even closer together because you're being vulnerable, you know, expressing a need that you have, and just recognizing that is a vulnerable thing to do, and that's what creates connection between people.
Well, and the other thing is when I was just thinking, like I didn't really realize quality time was real important on my list, but I would always feel disappointed if I would make a meal and we would sit down and he would pick up a book because he thought we were together.
Yeah.
We're eating together. We're hanging out together. He's reading a book. He's not talking, you know, he's not, but he's there, you know, and he always says, "Oh, this is great. You know, can I have more?" You know, so I mean, so he's appreciating what I made. Ah, now this is so fun. At least he's thinking
Mhm.
that the gift of the food is my thing. The food was just an excuse to spend the time together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's all subtly all woven together.
Yeah, of course.
And you can hurt the other person's feelings by not understanding their language. And it's not an intentional hurt, but because it's so important,
Oh yeah.
it feels really hurtful.
Yeah.
And
It's
so I really can encourage people to take the quiz, observe yourself. If you have a person who's, you know, your partner is a private person, don't want to take the quiz, just observe them, right? And see if you give them something, are they like, what am I supposed to do with this? That'd be my husband. What am I supposed to do with this? He doesn't want a gift, you know. But and he doesn't particularly want acts of service, although he likes to do acts of service. For a while, I tried to do acts of service back. You know, I mean, you can make mistakes, but you love this person, right?
Yeah.
And so the mistakes are not fundamental when the intention is to learn more and to help more and to
Right.
communicate better.
Right.
And I am so impressed too, like to have not the same basic language. That is such a challenge
Mm-hmm.
because people in different languages, you think differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Italian, I always think of Italian as kind of a culture of love.
In many ways. If you talk about pizza, you're going to get a lot of love. But I just wanted to explain a little more about the quiz. So what you're going to get when you take the quiz is you'll understand your two primary ones. So you'll get like a ranking, right?
Oh,
2, 3, 4, 5. And then it gives you the option to learn a little bit more about each language. And I would encourage you to read about each language and what each language needs, right? So some are obviously physical touch. You know, you get it like holding hands and giving a hug and things like that. And acts of service, doing things for the other person. But quality time is one of those ones that's like you kind of need to learn a little bit more about what quality time means to the other person. Because like you said, it's not sitting there and texting, but being next to each other. It's like it's being present with each other. Um, and then what you said also about being truly hurt by the other person if they don't speak your language, that's very true. And it's like feeling loved by something also makes you feel really terrible if they use it like use it in a bad way. So for example, words of affirmation for me, if Marco says something hurtful to me, it's like doubly hurtful for me than it would be for him, because he doesn't give and receive love in that way. So for me to ignore him, which is something that I actually have done in the past, like withdrawing, because that's when we get in an argument, that's my natural default unconscious pattern. Withdrawing is the most hurtful thing I can possibly do, and it puts him into a rage if I do that, and it's because it's like this primal, um, it's a primal need to know that your partner is there and that your partner loves you. And so that's something that I've really had to learn. And when an argument gets hard, I know that I've got to keep showing up there, and I've got to he's got to temper his words, because Italian is the language of love. It's also a very explosive culture.
And noisy and fast and
honest. I mean, I'm from North Carolina, and North Carolina is full of polite people, and my parents didn't yell at each other, even if they were angry. Marco's parents yelled at each other. And so for us to become more conscious of the other, and be proactive about how to treat each other in a way so that we know that we're loved, that we're both loved, has made such a difference for us. And then another thing I want to highlight that you said is, if your partner isn't into doing this kind of work, you can still do the work, and it'll make a difference for your partner. Like, you will plant seeds for them, and your ability to shift yourself and grow yourself will help them also grow and improve the relationship.
well, and it's like it just ripples out. And if I don't get my feelings hurt and I don't withdraw, but I say, oh, maybe I wasn't clear about this. Maybe I wasn't clear about what I expected or what I needed. And I was thinking also, there are challenges. What you brought up is a really strong challenge, which is that your protective default is to go inside and retreat and think and process and come back, and not to process in the presence of somebody else, and not to process in the moment under pressure. But under pressure, if withdrawing is seen as the ultimate insult, that's a challenge. That's a real challenging place to be, in terms of how to say, I need 3 minutes. I need 5 minutes. I'm not leaving. I just need a little time to settle so that I can be present with you. Because right now, even if I stay here, I'm not going to be too present, because we can evacuate while we just stand there at the same time. That's not it. That's a difficult communication impasse.
Yeah, I love how you said that. That's one of the principles of nonviolent communication, is when it's getting heated, go on the balcony, take a break. And the way you said is really important. It's about communicating that, and not just leaving, which is sometimes what I want to do. If I feel he's being hurtful, I just want to leave immediately without communicating it. But it takes something from you to really say, okay, what I really need right now is to take a break, and to regroup, and to get present again about what I really want to say in this conversation. And that's really powerful to do.
I think these are some great openings, Elise, for people to think about how they could improve their communication, how I mean, I'm pretty old, and I just didn't even really think about this at all.
Mhm.
I've been married. My husband and I, maybe 25 years we've been together or something. It's been a long time. I can count. It's too hard to count.
Congratulations. It's
But
awesome.
see, this is another thing. I mean, like anniversaries, no big deal. Thank heavens that
Mhm.
not remembering how long we've been together is not an insult to him.
Right.
That is such a gift to me,
Mhm.
and we both joke. If somebody says, "When did you get married?" We say, "Well, we have the paper in the safe. If we need to know the date, we'll go open the safe and look."
We have it engraved on our rings, and our last anniversary, we were like, "Wait, is today our anniversary?" And we were both like,
Let's look in here.
I know we've only been married for 3 years, so.
Well, but that means too that this big deal that some people have about dates and events and memorizing dates, that that doesn't fall on high on the scale for either one of you, which is a relief. And I know other people, and it's not on the guy's radar, but he knows it's important to his wife, and so he says, I have an alarm set on my phone. A week ahead, I go to the florist, and so there's no mistake, there's no missing. I ordered the flowers to be delivered, and this is a friend of mine, and I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, no, it's important to my wife. And I'm like, well, that's lovely then. That's really lovely. And and so I'm excited, and I hope people will ask questions. You guys, I'm going to put Elise's contact information, and her bio will be in the description, so you can check that out. She has a free gift. Do you want to say anything about that you offer?
Sure. Yeah. So I created a gift which is connection moments for couples. So this is a list of ideas for different ways that you can connect with your partner in an intentional and proactive way throughout the day. And because, connection and love doesn't happen only in the big moments like the anniversary or the birthday. It happens in the small everyday moments. Like it can be like a touch on the shoulder, or getting your partner coffee, or asking them, hey, can I help you with something, or making sure to get up from what you're doing when they walk in the door, and greeting them at the door. So it's just a list of a bunch of different ideas that you can use, and they'll include all the different love languages, right? I made sure to include different things from all the different love languages on the list, um, so that you can have fun and be proactive about creating love and connection in your relationship.
Awesome. Awesome. And that will be in the description too. And if you have questions or ideas or thoughts that you had about your own your own love language, misinterpreting the love language of other people, and this can work for people in your family too. Can work for your
Oh,
siblings, your parents,
yeah.
probably your kids. And this is an interesting thing because they're your kids and you think you understand them, but I think these are more organic, these things
Mhm.
inside of us. And so if you have questions, pop them in the comments. Elise will check those, and I'll check those, and we'll put this up on the Healing Path uh, broadcast, and you will be able to get in touch with Elise however it works best for you. And I encourage you because she is just one of my favorite people. So warm and kind and
Mhm.
gentle and clear. And so this is what I think is very important. Even she just asks questions, right? And shares ideas. And this opens doors for you or me or anyone I think probably anyone you talk to. So I'm so glad you could be here, Elise. And thank you so much for sharing your ideas and your clear thoughts and your genuine love for other people. I really appreciate that.
It's always such a pleasure and such an honor, Laura. Your presence makes me feel at ease.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Your voice and your presence, and you help me remember to take a deep breath and relax and be in this moment. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's just healing just to be around you.
Oh, thank you so much. I enjoy being with people, and I just enjoy learning and sharing. And like you said, when we're at ease, we actually learn better.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for watching. Please do drop some comments, and we'll be back in touch.
Thank you, everyone.